Big time fight coming up this weekend in the main event. We have Brazil's Marina Rodriguez taking on the super grappler Mackenzie Dern, who shot out like a phoenix after her loss to one Amanda Ribas. And if we're playing MMA math, one woman lost to Ribas, one woman beat Ribas. And I think ultimately the winner of this fight, either one gets a rematch with Carla Esparza, one gets a new matchup with Carla Esparza. But we'll see what happens. I can't wait for the fight. And I want to know what the people are thinking out there. Did you like the full card previews and predictions thumbnail for this one? I thought it was pretty cool.
Liked it.
I'll pat myself on the back. But I want to hear from you guys nonetheless. Guys, gals, everybody out there, let me know. Matt, when it comes to this fight, it's such an interesting one because for Dern, she had that loss to Amanda Ribas. Reset, refocus. She fought a level of competition, and I'll leave it there, but she submits Hannah Cifers and takes her leg away. She submits Randa Marcos. She beats Vina Jandiroba by decision. It was unanimous. I have arguments. And then she beat Nina Nunes in Nunes' comeback fight by armbar. Now, Matt, I will be totally honest because I was going to put some clips of me going, nope, I don't have Dern. Nope, I don't have Dern. I took Dern from Ribas to Cifers to Marcos. I took Dern. Jandiroba, I didn't because of the striking. I thought Jandiroba would have successes and maybe be able to negate some of the grappling on the ground. And then I took Nunes to get the win because I thought, oh, okay, Nunes is a much better pitter-patter striker on the feet. I've seen the marked improvements of Mackenzie Dern, and the other thing that I want to point out, I've seen that she's one of those fighters. Damian Maia is actually a bad example because he has 61% takedown defense or thereabouts in the UFC. Mackenzie Dern has less than 15% takedown defense in the UFC because if you take her down, you're doing her a favor.
You're an idiot if you take Mackenzie Dern down. Anybody who's done it, just... Mackenzie Dern is that grappler in this division. Like, she's the Brian Ortega. She's the Damian Maia. She's the Fabricio Verdum. Whatever other fighter you want to compare her to, she is that jiu-jitsu ace in this division. But the great thing about Mackenzie Dern is that she's not like a baseball player who hits home runs, then just falls in love with hitting home runs, and then they strike out because of it, and they never really build up the rest of their skill set. Mackenzie Dern figured, okay, I have a grappling background that not many other fighters can match. It's been something that I've drilled since I was a child. My father is world famous for his grappling, Megaton Diaz, of course. So it's not like anybody in the world's really going to catch up to me in the grappling. What do? I should go to a boxing gym and improve my hands. And that's what Mackenzie Dern's done. And it hasn't just been, oh, Mackenzie Dern's now training at a boxing gym. We're seeing highlights of her looking good in the gym. And then in her MMA fights, it doesn't look like she's pulling it all together. What I like about Mackenzie Dern is that she's taken the improvements from the gym and put them in the cage, and that's super important. How many times do we sit here and say, oh, we've seen this fighter on Instagram, or they talked about this in an interview, talk about these are the new skills that I have, and you're going to see them in the next fight. And then they just kind of fight the same way that they've always fought in the past. The great thing about Mackenzie Dern is we don't just hear about the improvements, we can actually see them in the cage too.
Well, the same thing can be said in Marina Rodriguez, another fighter that comes into the UFC of a certain expectation. Again, she has 2 draws, and if we want to play that game, Marina Rodriguez beat Amanda Ribas, but she drew with Randa Marcos, and Mackenzie Dern beat her. So again, you can play those silly little games. She lost a split decision to Carla Esparza, drew with, Cynthia Calvillo, wins over Tisha Torres, wins over Amanda Ribas. That's a finish win, and a win over Michelle Waterson where, was it a fun fight? No. But she was able to outstrike Michelle Waterson, who kind of rallied late. But for Marina Rodriguez, deadly when she's on the outside. And this is a position that if she gets in it, it's bad against Mackenzie Dern, but against a lot of fighters, when she's on her back, really, really deadly elbows when she's on her back, like Bisping when he fought GSP. But for Rodriguez, the trouble that a lot of people have is that she finds herself on her back too often. Her takedown defense in the UFC is nothing to shake a stick at, and it's different than Mackenzie Dern, who, again, you're doing her a favor if you take her down. For Marina Rodriguez, 54% takedown defense, 62% takedown defense, 0% takedown defense for Dern, 10% takedown accuracy, but submission wins nonetheless. And if you look at it in terms of the striking, not that close. Definitely favors Marina Rodriguez in this fight, who again, coming off wins over Ribas, over Waterson, where Mackenzie Dern, Jandiroba, Nunes, you can say what you want. A lot of people in the comments section haven't really been loving the level of competition that Dern's fought. Let's go through some of those comments, because we threw the thumbnail out there, or we threw the picture out there in the YouTube community tab. Drew Cliff, 82, who's there week in and week out with comments saying, this is a tough one. Question is, how good is Dern really? Marina's clearly faced much better opponents, but she's shown issues with the takedown. The threat of the takedown, and Marina not wanting to be on the ground at all will give Dern more freedom in the striking department. When she lands, she hits pretty hard. I can see Dern taking her down, so on and so forth. T. Holmes saying, I like this fight a lot.
So do I, T. Holmes.
You have the Isaiah-nator saying, Marina can't stop a takedown to save her life. Mackenzie by submission. Just my 2 cents. Dern's by sub. Clearly, Dern wins this. Marina by TKO, easy money. Marina by decision. And then Daryl, who says, worst card ever. And there's a lot of comments trying to pick Daryl up. You got to pick each other up in the comments section. When one goes down, we pick them up. We have a good time.
This is what I'm going to say about this fight. I don't think it's going to go to the decision no matter what, because this was probably going to happen. Either Marina Rodriguez establishes the jab early, gets her leg kicks going early, and it's just such an accumulation of volume and damage on her behalf that Mackenzie Dern's just not going to be able to get takedowns. She's going to be so far away from Rodriguez that she's going to look bad on the outside probably and get outboxed, because no matter how many improvements Dern has made in the striking department, it's very similar to Rodriguez. Like, if Rodriguez did nothing but jiu-jitsu for the last 2 years, she still probably wouldn't be as good as Mackenzie Dern at just jiu-jitsu. Like, you can make improvements, but it's still hard to get better than somebody when that is their specialty. So I think this is an all or nothing fight. One-way traffic, one way or the other. Either Dern gets that takedown early on in the fight, probably wins via armbar, leg lock, rear naked choke. That's the thing about Mackenzie Dern. She doesn't just have to go after one kind of submission. She can get it done in so many different kind of ways. And you almost did my work for me. You brought it up. The thing that I hate about Marina Rodriguez is the fact that she strikes off her back. I understand in some matchups it's a good thing. It creates separation. It's going to get your opponent to maybe stand back up and get off of you. But against Mackenzie Dern, you do not want to be a fighter who's known for getting held down. If Mackenzie Dern is in your full guard, even if you lock up your guard and you're trying to land elbows and you're doing everything you can to just stall the position, Mackenzie Dern will find a way to get out of it. She will pass your guard, get into half guard, get into full mount, and probably submit you. I can't believe I'm saying this, Craig. I think Marina Rodriguez is going to win this fight via TKO. Now, she's probably going to get submitted in the first 3 seconds of the fight, but I think if she can establish the jab early, if she can start accumulating damage from the outside early, like she was able to do against Michelle Waterson, I really do think that the striking and the wrestling of Mackenzie Dern hasn't come to the level to take someone like Rodriguez down. So against almost my better judgment, I do think that the accumulation of strikes from Rodriguez is going to give Dern a lot of trouble. Because this will be the last thing I say. I think Dern's biggest win and her worst loss are probably because of the exact same thing. People forget that Mackenzie Dern came back like a week after having her kid to fight Amanda Hebos. I understand it wasn't a week, but it was a very rapid turnaround after taking a lot of time off, after having her body change a lot. The exact same thing kind of has to be said for Nunes when Nunes is getting ready for her fight against Dern. Nunes has a lot of time off, has a child, and then comes back honestly pretty quick after having that kid and fights Mackenzie Dern. I think Dern herself was a compromised version when she fought Amanda Hebos, and I think Nunes was somewhat compromised when she fought Dern, so I do somewhat agree with the level of competition argument with Mackenzie Dern, and that's why I have to pick Rodriguez.
When I look at the odds for this one, Dern open minus 185 favorite, best fight odds average minus 162 right now, Monday night. Marina Rodriguez open a plus 160, she's plus 134. The Tapology votes, they are not close. They haven't been close all card long. 834 total votes, 70% Dern, 80% by submission for the 30% that have Rodriguez, 47% by submission, 44% by knockout. For the 47% that have Rodriguez to win by decision, I would be a little surprised if this went to a decision, but I was surprised last week when Santos and Walker went to a decision. So I could be surprised 2 weeks in a row with 5-round main events. And main events should be 5 rounds, like MVP and Douglas Lima. Do it, Bellator. Do it. Why don't you do it? Just do it. But when I look at this one, Mackenzie Dern, I've had this wrong sense about her. You know, I look at the Jandiroba fight and I went, well, Jandiroba, she can strike a little bit. She's a really good grappler in her own right. She's long, she's rangy, she's wonky. Kind of like Rodriguez, but not like Rodriguez. Because Jandiroba's way better on the ground and has better takedown defense. And I still thought that she won the fight against Dern, but I'll stop making that argument. And then when Dern fought Nunes, I went, well, that's a good striker. Nunes is going to win. Marina Rodriguez is a much better striker. She's long, she's rangy.
And she didn't just have a kid.
She's got pop at the end of her shots. Look at the Hebos win. But Mackenzie Dern, this is where I was wrong, but then it changed my mind. Just like Casey O'Neill last week. And just like Casey O'Neill where I went, she's good on the ground. She's not that good. I know how good Dern is on the ground, but I was so wrong about Casey O'Neill that I went back, I racked my brain and went back and watched the fights. Same thing with Dern. I think if this touches the mat for 2 seconds, it's over.
You're probably right.
And I like Mackenzie Dern for that fact. I think she now has those, abilities where they're going to market it. Do I think Marina Rodriguez goes out there, watches our video, watches MMA Lock of the Night, watches Dan at Best Fight Picks, watches Cody Safdie, watches Paul Shaughnessy on the same show,
Probably not.
watches what Ian Parker says, watches what Clint, Diehard MMA Pod, watches everybody and goes, man, I don't like what they say about this fight. No! Do I think she watches any of the UFC promo? No! I don't. None of it matters to Marina Rodriguez except for what happens in the octagon. I think Dern goes out there and plays the striking game just quick, goes overhand, and then we're going down and we're playing with the legs and we're going for a takedown. I like Dern in this fight for that reason. She can play those games, and I think that trickiness is going to get her the win.
I can't really disagree with it. Again, it's going to be all or nothing one way or the other. My issue with Dern is her striking has improved. She doesn't have any strikes that set the table for her big power shots, though. It's really a lot of those looping, powerful shots, which they are good. She has improved her hooks a lot, but she doesn't work behind a jab. She doesn't have a lot of volume accumulating strikes in the feet, and that's why I like Rodriguez. If Rodriguez is able to use her leg kick, use her jab, and just get off to a big lead, Mackenzie Dern only has a 10% success rate with her own offensive takedowns. If you look at a lot of her submission wins, it's Randa Marcos took her down. Hannah Cyphers jumps into her guard for reasons that we might never know. It's a lot of her opponent making the mistake and not Mackenzie Dern going out there and forcing the win. So I'm going to pick Rodriguez, but I'm really excited for this main event. Like, I truly am.
The winner is going to fight Carla Esparza. Knock on wood. Let's see what happens with Matt. I do like this fight and the rest of our 11 fight set. If anything changes, make sure you keep locked in with Fight Night Picks. I say that all the time. I end the videos. Keep it locked in. Let's get into it. So on and so forth. Subscribe. Because we're going to add a show.
Tell a friend.
We continue saying it, but it's got to happen. So if you subscribe, if you tell a friend to subscribe, if you toss us a like, it helps out the channel, but it brings more people on. And we want to bring that Dana White's Contender Series content your way. And the time is dwindling down. Mike Malot's got a fight coming up. He's Canadian. He trains with some of the best in the world at, Team Alpha Male?
We missed Aaron Jeffrey's fight.
Aaron Jeffrey, Canadian. Anthony Romero, Canadian. A lot of Canadians out there, but I know a lot of people want to see this content, and it means a lot to them. It means a lot to me, but we got to reach that 30,000 threshold. Let's make it happen this week. Tune in to Question Mark Kicks 2 hours before the prelims, a final look at the weigh-ins, final picks and predictions that actually go out there in the community tab and on the socials. So it's like an R.L. Stine, create your own destiny type of book, and I want that show to happen, and I know you do too.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. Maybe if we hit 30,000 afterwards, we'll figure out something else to add to the rotation. But hey, the more of you
That's
guys...
not going to happen. It's going to happen.
The more you guys that support us, the more content we can make for you guys. And really, at the end of the day, we just like hanging out with other MMA fighters. So the more... Or with other MMA fans, goodness. So the more MMA fans we can get together in one spot, just the more fun it makes this whole community.
New office coming in the next couple of weeks. I know people are excited about that too. You can find us, as always, at Craig Allen FNP, at Matt Allen FNP, and at Fight Night Picks. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks, as we always say. Let's get into it.